It's just an additional tool for our staff to use in the event of an emergency or during drills. It doesn't change how we handle protocols. It doesn't change anything of how we've been doing. Everything still stays the same. It's just a tool that can be at their fingertips during those actual events. And then what it also does is it helps compile some information more centrally for administration to use. Now, obviously, the district does not have funding to provide devices for everyone, so it is optional. This isn't something everybody has to have, and even if it is one that is, if people choose not to use it, it isn't going to change how we react. So I reinforce with everyone it's not required. What we'll probably end up doing at the end of the school year, because we're going to test it out for this year and then make a decision if we want to renew the contract, because everything has a price tag, and we'll decide if it's a useful tool for the school district or not. And then, so I'll probably send out like a Google survey at the end of the year and ask for the good, the bad, what did you think, did you use it, did you not? And then we'll decide if we're going to move forward with it for the next school year. But as we're going through the training today, I have Sarah from CrisisGo on the line to do a walkthrough kind of webinar with us so that we can go through all of this. Being you guys are EdCenter staff, I'm not sure exactly what you're going to see because I've only trained building staff when it comes to rosters and things. But as you're going through it, just think about your role and should you have all building access? Should you have certain information that may or may not be turned on currently with your sign-on? And if you think you should, just let us know. It's a very easy thing to change. And if you're not seeing what Sarah is showing us up on the screen and you think you should, email Shannon or myself and we'll work with CrisisGo to get that corrected. And as you're using this, I strongly recommend everyone think outside the box. This is not just, this isn't something that just to be used for safety and security. I've told a lot of teachers, for example, under rosters when we get there, we actually have all the students' names for each particular school and their emergency contact information, or excuse me, emergency contact name, like the mother or mother's name, and a phone number. So they can make a call directly from their CrisisGo app, even if they don't have Skyward available, or they have that information right there. In addition, my favorite icon up there is maps. Even though it says maps, it's actually PDFs. It can be any PDFs. We have our evacuation maps up there. They're in there. But you could put anything. Like we have a student at one building that's prone to seizures. And so they may end up putting the protocol they follow in the event of the student having a seizure. And it's then available for their whole building to have access to. Some of the coaches have talked about putting the concussion protocol when they suspect a concussion. So you know, think outside the box. If there's things that could be beneficial for you as a building, you as a team, or another building altogether, we can definitely put those out there. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. She's going to walk us through an actual drill and use the app. After we're done here, we have, I encourage you to go back, try it out, see what you think. The only thing you're not going to want to do is set off an alert because the fire and police may respond if you do that because they also are connected to this. But the rest of it you can play around with and it won't hurt anything. So Sarah, I'll turn it over to you. Now, this group is all district education center staff, Sarah. So okay. They are not specifically at a building, but they work with building staff on an ongoing basis.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Well, good morning. As Tammy said, my name is Sarah. I've been with CrisisGo about 1.5 years, and I've been in every position there is. So hopefully, if you have any questions, I'll be able to answer. And if not, I will find out the answer for you. If you have had the chance to download the app and log in, you're going to see a couple of the icons here. Checklist, roster, maps, and contacts are all going to have a little circle up here in the top right. That's going to indicate that something needs to be updated. So I'm going to click on that icon. And up here at the top, this little pink bar, if you tap on that cloud here, it's going to update the information. So here you can see that somebody updated their personal contact information. So as we go through this, please feel free to send out the alerts, do the releases, the notices, anything that as we're going through. Because I don't know about you, but I learned by actually doing it. So the example I like to use is fire drill. That's pretty much common across the entire nation. Everybody has to have them. So as Tammy said, this is just an extra tool. You should still call 911. You should still pull the fire alarm. But when that fire alarm goes off, you don't always know where it is. It could be on our evacuation route. So that's when we're going to go into alert. We're going to scroll down to fire. Although you can see here as we go, we do have some set up for drill, so we'll send out a different tone than the alert you're going to get now. So fire, typically you would just select whichever building you're in, so you would just select Education Center. But for today, I did create a training group, so it's just us in that group. So I'm going to go to the top to alert group. I'm going to scroll down to Education Training Center, or Education Center Training. And then you can see this little pop-up box that came down here. And now that's where I can add in that extra information. I can say fire in the gym. I'm going to hit send. When I hit send again, you're going to get a loud siren. You're going to have 3 options. Check, which will open the app, turn the sound off, which can go through the app wherever you like. Cancel, you can cancel the sound and continue doing whatever you're doing on your device. Or checklist, and checklist is going to take us to the next piece we're going to go through. So you can see when that came up, it shows you what the crisis was, who sent it, the time and date, and then that extra information. All of this is recorded on a console piece that we've given. I know Shannon right now has been using it. She can monitor everything that's going on. Everything is recorded for administrators. So typically you would not release this alert until everything is over, has taken place. But for training purposes, we're going to go ahead and do that. And if you do see the release option on yours, feel free to beat me to it. So I'm just going to tap on the alert, and then I'm going to tap release to the top. You can see the getting has released that alert. That's your all clear signal. But of course, when during a fire, you're evacuated, you're on all different sides of the building. This is one easy way to do that all clear signal. So I'm back on that main page, and one of the options you have when that alert went off was checklist. If you had not selected that, you can go to right up here in the top middle. And this is going to be based off your role. So all we did was took your district emergency plan and we separated it by what teachers should do, staff, administrators, so forth. So each person sees specifically what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to tap on my role and I'm going to go to fire. Fire again. And of course, again, if you had selected checklist, it would have taken you straight to here. And then as I go through, I'm going to check off each one as I complete that step. So again, this is a tool during an actual crisis. We don't expect anybody to go through and read each one of the steps. But that's why we strongly encourage you to use it for drills, so that you get in the habit, you kind of memorize everything, and you're less likely to skip or miss anything if an actual crisis occurs. You can see it's also time and date stamped. Again, this is all recorded for you to look at later and for your recording. But then over here on the right, you see these little square boxes. This adds extra information. So if I click on this, maybe as I was trying to evacuate, there were some boxes or some chairs that had been set in front of the door and I can't get out. The door 10 is blocked. So again, this is going to record on that console piece, and you'll have that for your recording purposes. You can go back and look at that and know that we need to send somebody to open that door up. So back on that main page again, the next one is notice. Communication in any crisis and actually in everyday work environment, we need to communicate. I'm going to tap on notice. Again, you should probably only see your building, but I'm going to go down to, where is it? Education Center Training. And again, down here at the bottom, you have that extra text box. So maybe if I was evacuating, I know usually I use the example at school. If I was evacuating, Susie came out of the bathroom, I have her with me, I can let everybody know I have Susie with me. Or any other kind of communication. I can't think of something off the top of my head right now that you may use, but you can add that in here. So Susie is with me, or maybe I said to the nurse, where is Susie? Haven't seen her. Or even with that, has anybody seen Danny? So some people aren't very tech savvy, they can't text very fast, or maybe you need to add other information. The little circle down here with the plus sign brings up the multimedia tool. So I can send a picture, I can do an audio, which is the actual voice recording, I can do a video, or I can send a file. You can see Tammy just sent a picture. There's a suspicious person here. Does anybody know him?
Snuck in. Back up our security.
So that is actually one of the ways we've had a district use the picture feature. They had a suspicious person when they were out on the playground. The teacher snapped a picture, and then staff were able to reply, yeah, that's Johnny's dad, or well, we don't really know who that is. Go ahead and bring everybody inside. We'll go on soft lockdown. Going back. The next one is roster. So of course, once all staff have evacuated the building, teachers are supposed to take their attendance. I'm going to go in. They will only see their school on here, so they will select their school. Obviously, they don't have one for your building since it's not a school, but I'll just select one. Then the teachers are going to find their name. Alright. There it goes. So the teachers are going to select their name, and then they're going to select the class that they had during that time. Now they're going to have their roster here. Now keep in mind, this is their roster. It is not attendance. So if somebody's absent, they're still going to be on this list. So as I go through, I'm going to select each one as I have them in my line. But maybe I know that Andrew isn't here today. He went to the doctor. We do not check him off, because then if we do any kind of verification, we have to check that he's not in our line. We're looking for him, sending emergency personnel to a burning building, but he's not even here. So we do tell staff not to check them if they are absent. Instead of at the top, when we submit our roster, we can add in that extra information again. Andrew is at the doctor. And again, all of that is recorded on the console. If I go back into that roster, if I long hold, so if you put your finger on one of the names and just keep it there for a minute, as Tammy said, you have their emergency personnel, emergency information. So here I have mom's number. If I'm using a device that will make calls, so if I'm on the phone, all I have to do is tap on that number and it'll call straight from there. I don't have to go check Skyward, write it down, go to the phone. It's all right here, press it and go. And we can tell these teachers, you know, I was a teacher and I would love to have this even for everyday purposes. So calling, you know, Susie did such a great job in this math test and she's been struggling. I just wanted to tell you. Or, you know, Johnny's having a really rough day. Would you mind talking to him? The next one, as Tammy mentioned, is her favorite, is math. But it can be any PDF or JPEG file that you feel is helpful for your building. So for the Education Center, you can see we already have your floor plans in here. I tap on that and it's interactive, so I can zoom in, I can scroll over. So if I'm in a different room, I don't know my evacuation route. Go. So again, anything that you think would be helpful for your building, you can add in here. The next one is contacts. And in here you're going to have internal and external contacts. Down here at the bottom right, you'll see where it says external. This is everybody that's outside of the district. So yeah, emergency response, or utilities, medical, transportation, all of those important numbers are right here. Internal, of course, is everybody that's in the district. So if I go to Education Center, it's going to be based on building and then by role. So maybe I went to administration and then I can click on a name. So here's that information. Again, it's interactive. So if I want to email Brandon, I can just tap on that envelope. My default email will pop up. I can email him straight from here. And again, same thing with the phone. I'm on a tablet, so it's not going to work. But if you're using this on a phone, you just tap on that, and I can call straight from there. So making the phone trees, if you have severe weather, would make that a lot easier. So light and siren and profile are unique to your own device. Light, of course, just that flash camera option. You can use it as a flashlight. We actually had that added before all of the phones actually came with one now. Siren, it's the same sound as the alert, but it's only in your device. So if you find yourself here in a situation, you need help, you can't yell out, you can tap on that and emergency personnel can find you. The last one here is profile. Here is where you can update your own information. So if you got married over the summer, change your last name, congratulations. You want to add your cell phone in there. I know some people do and some don't, so you can add your cell phone and so forth. And as soon as I hit submit, if you go back to that main page again, you're going to see that contacts has that little red dot that indicates that I have updated that information. I'm just going to go in and tap on that file again. Also under profile, the bottom right, where you can change your password. You do not need to be logged into the app 24/7 to receive those alerts and notices, and I'll show you how to log out in just a second. However, if you are signed out and an alert goes off, you're going to have to put your password back in. So we strongly recommend using something that you're going to remember, something kind of short so you can get in quickly. So before I go to the last section here, does anybody have questions on the organizational side?
Nope, we're good.
All right. So lastly down here, the bottom right with the 3 lines here that say more. Third one down is our training center. We now have training videos that are about a minute or less that go over each step. So obviously I know I went through this pretty quickly. If you forget how to do that, you can just go to features and you can see how to send a message, how to add groups, and so forth. And then you can also see some of our other features, the bullying mechanics we can add to your account as well, no additional charge. Feedback, everything that has been designed in the app is based off of suggestions and ideas from our customers. So if you see something that you think should be changed, or you have an idea that you'd like to add to help the app benefit you more, just tap on feedback. It goes straight to our developers. They do look at every single submission, and if it's something they can put in the next update, they will certainly do that. And then lastly, here is settings. I mentioned you don't have to be logged in, so you can see down here at the bottom is where you can sign out. However, you want to make sure that top one up here is on. This will toggle switch receive offline messages. If that's on, then when you log out, you'll still receive them. Fourth one down here, in-app message sound. You want to make sure it's on always high volume. This will allow us, if you are in the app, you can still have your phone on silent, and the siren will still go off. So we can kind of override that little toggle switch. And lastly down here is do not disturb. So even if I sign out and you guys continue to practice, which I hope you do, I'm going to end up getting all of your alerts. So that's why I usually do turn my do not disturb on. But maybe you have jury duty, or you have a wedding, or just a really important meeting, you really don't want the alerts to go off. You can turn that on and you'll still get the little pop-up box, but you won't get the sound. So you can turn that on as well. We just recommend making sure it's off so that you can get it if you need it. And that is the CrisisGo app. Do you have any questions?
Nothing here, Sarah. We're good.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your time today, and hope you have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks. You too, Sarah.
Bye.
All right. So again, if you're not seeing what she's seeing, or you think you need access to other buildings that you're not currently